Hey guys, Nikki Klucha here with Blue Line Fitness Testing. This is the first in our series of station snacks, and I don't mean donuts. So these sets of exercises are essentially going to be around the 10 to 15 minute kind of snack exercises. So things that you can do in a quick 10-minute break or 15-minute break, maybe before you start your shift, maybe halfway through the shift, or maybe at the end of the shift before you hang up that uniform and head home. So this station snack is all to do with that tight low back that we all get from our heavy duty belts, from having to wear the vests, from possibly wearing ill-fitting duty boots, or just having a really tight back. So in order to stretch this baby out and make sure that we are able to move with mobility and safe joint movement throughout the spine, we're gonna stretch it out with a couple quick exercises. So the first one we're gonna do is we're gonna lay down on our backs. So again, as you're moving back, you wanna just hang onto those knees to help yourself roll back, and then just gently draw those knees into the chest. Just a gentle squeeze. You wanna feel that back just kind of spread out on the floor. You can hold behind the knees is really helpful so we're not putting pressure on the tops of the knees. If you want a little bit deeper, you can grasp for the shins and just gently squeeze in. We want to hold this for about 10 to 15 seconds. Just feel that nice kind of spreading out, each knob of your vertebrae kind of pushing down into that mat. And then if it feels good, you can kind of just start to rock side to side, just rocking over the sides, starting small, and then maybe getting a little bit bigger and bigger, just allowing that movement to kind of pass over into the sides of the hips. So you may feel, again, without a duty belt on, how great it feels just to lay flat on the ground. And then maybe it feels good to just take some little circles with the knees. The knees circling is also going to help joint movement into the hips, so a little bit of mobility, a little bit of flexibility into those hips, just by lubricating that ball and socket joint. So our hip is essentially a ball with the socket over top. So when we're moving the ball within the socket, we're allowing that synovial fluid to flow over top and just lubricate that joint. You want to go in one direction and then go in the opposite direction. Just again, feeling that nice stretch out through that back. And you can gently still those knees, and we can now extend one leg out and just keep one knee in, and then we can play around again a little bit further into those hips. Oftentimes our low back pain is because we have actually tight hips. So the tight hips are pulling the pelvis forward, causing that kind of pain in that low back. So again, you can start with those little knee circles, kind of allowing that hip joint to move through the full range of motion, and maybe those get a little bit wider and a little bit bigger. And if we go one way, we always want to go back the opposite way. And again, if any of this is causing you pain, we want to just stop, take a breather, and then come back into it in a little bit smaller motion. So I'm going to do that with that right, then we're going to extend that right leg out, we're going to draw that left knee again. Give that little squeeze. You may feel this slightly into the hamstrings, the back of the legs. And then again, we can start with those little small knee circles, just helping lubricate through those hips. And whatever you took one way, you're going to take the opposite way. And again, you can do about 10 circles one way, 10 circles the next way. And then gently stilling that. And then extending that leg down. And then giving yourself just a nice big stretch out on the floor. That alone feels great. Just a big morning stretch. Feeling the spine elongate. Feeling space come between each vertebrae. Reaching out. And then we're going to gently roll over to either side. Doesn't matter which side. We're going to press ourselves up. We're going to come to all fours on a tabletop. Now again, if this bothers the knees, you can always double up your mat. Just take a fold to it so there's a little bit more cushion, and come to all fours, and we're just going to work through a little bit of cat-cow. So this essentially is articulating the spine kind of in an S shape. So we're going to inhale and we're going to drop our bellies down. We're going to lift up through our chest and lift up through our tail. I want to feel that kind of belly stretching out. And then we're going to exhale and we're going to lift up. Begin to press the hips down, lift up through the shoulder blades into that cat. So just like a cat stretching its back up. And you can take a couple different shoulder rolls here, just kind of leaning it forward, leaning it back. And then an inhale, dropping the belly, lifting that heart and tail. And then exhaling, lifting up. Flowing through 4, 5 of these cat-cows. And as we articulate the spine, we want to feel, again, each vertebrae moving kind of its own, but it's all attached like a necklace. So the vertebrae are beads on the necklace. So they're all attached, but they can each move individually. Making sure to connect that breath. And then coming back. We're going to meet back in that all fours tabletop position. And now we're going to take that cat-cow to the side. So we're going to peek over that left shoulder. Look for that left heel. Really curl yourself around. Now you're going to feel this stretch come up out of the right hip. So you may feel this all the way up through the side of the right leg, into the right hip, and then into that low back. And then inhale, come back through center. And then peek over top of that right side, looking for that right ankle. Really curling yourself around again. Feeling that stretch come all the way up through the side here. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale. Again, we're going to do this 5 or 6 times on each side. Just feeling a little bit more openness come with each rotation, with each stretch over. Breathing. And then coming back through center. Exhaling, opposite direction. Coming back through center. One more time, peeking over that shoulder. Coming back through center. And then we're going to come up onto our feet. So again, getting up here however feels good to you. Once you're on those feet, if you can, we want to think about rolling up, just slowly and gently. Feeling again the spine roll up. Going to roll those shoulders down and back and really lift up through the feet, okay? We're going to come into a side bend. So when we get into our side bend, we want to bring those hands up overhead. Now you can keep hands apart here, or you can bring the hands together. You can put the fingertips together, you can interlace and just leave your index fingers. Whatever feels good to you. If your shoulders are really tight, you're probably going to want to keep those arms apart. You can also do this if you're next to a wall. Kind of hand on the wall and begin to lean over. So I'm going to reach my hands up. I want to think about separating my ribs and my hips. So you want to create a little bit of length there, but without hunching our shoulders up around our ears. Lift up and then begin to tip yourself over to the side, really pressing that hip away. Now you're going to feel this stretch come up out of the side of the low back, right up out of that glute and all the way up through the back. This one feels so good, especially at the end of a shift when that duty belt has been sitting on those hips for a while. Reaching across. Again, holding for about 8 to 10 seconds. And then inhale, come back. And then exhale, tip to the opposite side. Again, keeping that nice open face. I want you to think about your arms as a frame, a photo frame. And your beautiful face is that photo. We're pressing that hip away. Inhale, come back through center. You're going to float those arms down and release. Now, the next one can be done standing, or I like to do it laying down. So you may want to try this one before you come to standing. You can do this, like I said, standing or seated. We're going to come down onto the back. We're going to lay ourselves back. And again, you can keep the legs up, or you can keep them down, depending on how that low back is feeling. If you're feeling a lot of pain and pressure on that low back, you might want to keep those feet down. If you're feeling a little bit stronger through the core and through that low back, you can lift those heels up. And bring those arms out to a T. We're going to inhale, keep the head looking up at the roof for nice stability and alignment through the spine. And then we're going to exhale and just allow those knees to flop over to the side, just in a nice, easy twist now. Now again, if that is too much for the low back, keeping the feet down on the ground, exhale, just allow the knees to fall over to the side. And again, notice now, are you fighting this somehow? So are you squeezing through the glutes? Are you squeezing through the toes? Maybe your jaw is clenched. I want to see if you can totally relax into this. So maybe you need to close the eyes. I like to take a nice exhale. Just allows your body to relax a little bit into this. And then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, allow those knees to flop over towards the left side. And again, not fighting this at all, just allowing them to fall wherever they fall. So maybe they fall and they touch the ground. Maybe they're a couple inches off the ground. Maybe they're a foot off the ground. Everybody's back is different. Everybody's rotational capacity is different. So it's totally fine. And then inhale, come back through center one more time. Drop it over. And you'll notice on the second time or the third time that those knees can get a little bit closer to the ground. And then inhale, come back through center. Exhale, allow them to flop over to the other side. Just completely relaxing here into this. Letting it just be soft through the spine. And then coming back through center. We're gonna roll ourselves over onto our sides and then begin to press ourselves up, coming to all fours or tabletop position. Stacking shoulders, elbows and wrists, hips and knees here in that nice strong position. Coming back through center, releasing those arms down, and you are ready for the day. That low back should be feeling nice and stretched out. And remember, you can come back to this little station snack at any point in time. It's only 10 minutes of your day, and that mobility and flexibility through the back is gonna keep you going long after your shift is done, long after your career in law enforcement is done, so that you can keep doing those activities that you love to do. Have a great day, guys.